And let's talk about Katy Perry, who there's stories floating around yet again. I saw some of you Katy cats up in my comments over on Twitter. I had to cackle at that because they mad out here. I'm reporting this story. They talking about, oh, her stuff is sold out in all these other places except for one. I'm like, okay. So anyway, according to reports, it said that after 143 was critically panned, along with its single Woman's World, there's been a lot of backlash because of her collaboration with Dr. Puke on this new album, who was accused of misconduct by Kesha. That's been floating around for like over a decade, and the fact that some people was mad because they felt like Katy betrayed Kesha by continuing to associate with Dr. Puke. So now, according to a report, there's a likelihood that they're saying that Perry will have to cancel some tour dates on her upcoming Lifetimes World Tour. This is according to The Blast, by the way. But I saw the U.S. Sun, a bunch of other people was reporting this as well. The singer is scheduled to hit the road from April to November and will be performing in 83 cities across Europe, the Americas, and Canada. However, she is reportedly struggling to sell tickets for the shows and may have to cut back on performing in some cities. Now, we did talk about this before. They said expectations are high, and she is disappointed by the lack of interest in some countries and venues. This is what a source told the U.S. Sun. Some people involved thought it would be a massive wave with ticket sales exploding quickly, but sadly, she is not Taylor Swift. Who are these people they were talking to, number one? Because I don't know where on this planet that y'all thought that this quote again. Some people involved thought it would be a massive wave with ticket sales exploding quickly. Who are these people? Are they in her camp? Because y'all are delusional. Because I don't know one person who y'all thought was actually going to be up in here excited for a new Katy Perry tour, especially when Katy Perry hasn't toured in a while. She did a residency. And here's the thing, when you in one spot doing a show, and you're doing a residency, it's not that hard to get a bunch of tourists who are in the area, with the gambling and the partying and all of the stuff going on in Vegas to be like, let's take in a show. Let's go see Katy Perry and check it out. The Vegas Strip is kind of like, it's a tourist attraction. So, yeah, you're going to get a lot of those people who are coming in and out of Vegas from all over the world that are going to go see this show. She was in one space. You didn't really have to worry as much about whether or not she was going to fill up and sell out tickets because that was what she gave. But then when this album came out, which basically sounded like dated, basic ass Euro dance pop, which I'm sure the Europeans live for it because, y'all like anything with an 808 behind it if it's good. But then again, there's been some horrible dance music that has come out of Europe that they will support it regardless. But in America, I don't think people care as much. She's got her loyal fan base, but I feel like it should have been select spots. So the source explained that the supposed low ticket sales was starting to get very confusing as we need those big dates to be full. Now, although canceling concert shows will be a worst case scenario, we'll ask Jennifer Lopez, another source noted that it's a possibility, saying that we hope no concerts will be canceled and it will be a huge blow and disappointment, they shared. Perry, who last toured in 2018, so that's 6 years that she hasn't toured and gave like a massive tour. So she hasn't been consistent like Taylor Swift has. Taylor Swift's been releasing albums every year, basically. So she's been accumulating and building her fan base and feeding the girl, the Swifties. So I can understand why Taylor Swift, who, is kind of been, who's not kind of, she's been selling out stadiums all over the world for the past 2 years, especially with that Torture Poets Department album, with the Eras tour. So they said that she reportedly contacted her longtime friend Taylor Swift for advice and support as she hopes to avert the situation. Swift is fresh from her highly successful Eras World Tour, where she grossed a record $2 billion in ticket sales and solidified her status as a billionaire pop star. Now, according to Forbes, Swift's net worth now stands at an estimated $1.6 billion after pocketing about $190 million after taxes Then they had to make sure it was after taxes too. From the first leg of the Eras Tour and another $35 million from the first 2 weeks of screenings of Taylor Swift, the Eras Tour movie. So it wasn't just the tour, it was also the movie deal that she had where it was showing in AMC theaters. So yeah, when y'all see in this picture, all that blue, that was tickets that had yet to be sold. So, what else does it say? So it also said that Katy saw one of the Taylor shows last year and was excited and inspired by what she saw. She knows she can count on her to give her some positive feedback. Taylor wants Katy to succeed and have a great tour and enjoy her time while on the road, and Katy appreciates that. Perry's tour sales may seemingly be affected by her disastrous album rollout due to the lead single Woman's World being produced by Dr. Puke. Now, with the tour just months away, these sluggish sales come after Perry faced backlash from fans over her decision to collaborate with Dr. Luke on the latest album, 143. The producer, as you know, has been a controversial figure since the whole situation with Kesha. Now, after years of lawsuits and countersuits, both parties reached a private settlement in 2023, avoiding a trial. Now, Perry was reportedly warned not to work with the producer on any new music, but she ignored the advice. Then she decided to go on. Was it the Call Me Daddy podcast or something or another, and she gave some flippant excuse as to why she worked with him and whatever she said. I was like, okay, girl, this makes no damn sense, and people weren't buying into it. And then she came across as tone deaf with the Woman's World music video. It just felt like that you were just trying to play up this whole such a feminist thing, and it was just like, girl, you're not reading the room. It was just the whole rollout was a mess. Then you listen to the songs sound like dated dance pop music that would have probably worked best in 2011, but we're in 2024 that's when the album was released. So we in 2024, as we talking about it in 2025. So the album comes out in 2024. People's listening to it. We all like, WTF is this? This album ain't it. Girl, put this back in the vault. You should have never released these songs. It's trash. And now, when I watched her at Jingle Ball, when she did the old hits, everybody was pretty much enjoying it. Although there was a kind of a bit of a shade where they were like, "Well, damn, everybody's clearing out because she came and closed out the show." Which it could have been a mixture of both. Maybe people weren't there they wanted to see Katy, but also you got to realize in New York City, especially when we are literally Madison Square Garden is on top of 34th Street Penn Station. So when a lot of the people that are leaving the venues, they've got trains to catch. They're trying to get to the railroad after a certain time. The New Jersey Transit be funny with them when they pick up or come for the people and whatever and take them back and forth from New York to New Jersey. So people be real particular about their train schedule. So yeah, when you going on late and you pushing towards midnight, but you got to pay a penalty if you go over a certain time after midnight. Or I'm trying to remember if it's midnight or if it's 11 p.m. You do have to pay a penalty. Where it's like you got to, per minute, you got to pay thousands and thousands of dollars if you go over your time. Because you only paid up to a certain time to rent out the venue that you're doing your show at. So when you're doing Jingle Ball, yeah, I'm sure iHeart will cover the bill. And Katy Perry went on, I believe, at like 11:45. I think that it kind of went over a little bit and it did go on a bit late. And a lot of people was clearing out. But I'm sitting there watching. I'm like, damn, I already know this about to go viral. People going to say that, oh, everybody's trying to leave. And I remember the next day I saw all this stories and stuff coming out. And people trying to paint a certain narrative. So it could have probably been a mixture of both. That, people were trying to catch a train. And then there was some people was like, okay, I'm not here for Katy Perry. I want to see Benson Boone. I want to see Stacey Abrams. I want to see Shabuzi. I want to see all these other artists. But I don't really want to see this lady and listen to her performing Woman's World and these other songs. Well, she did play some of the new stuff, but she focused on the old hits, and those who stayed behind was living. But when it came down to the newer stuff, I did notice a lot of people weren't really, they weren't into it. So we'll see, sis, if this story turns out to be true. And it gets to a point where a lot of the fandom, if people are going to actually go out and see the show. But I'm sure, like all the arenas, if the tickets are gonna be, I don't know, if the tickets are, people are struggling, what they'll do is they'll drop those ticket prices down to like $25 a day of. I'm just throwing a number out there, and people are like, oh, this ticket is cheap. I'm gonna just go and get liquored up pregame before I come into the garden, and maybe get me like a drink or two and some food or whatever, and I'm just gonna watch the show and just be wild and entertained for 2 hours or whatever the case is. They'll find a way to fill up the marinas. I know they'll do that at the garden, but as far maybe she won't struggle that much at the garden. But other places in other cities that outside of, I think, New York, LA, like the big major areas, maybe she should just focus on certain areas and not like, I don't know, parts of Texas or Phoenix, Arizona. I don't know if she'll be able to sell tickets out there, but we'll just have to see how she does when that all happens. But also to wrap this up, they said she was insane to think that Dr. Luke was a good idea. She didn't listen to anyone. Instead of diving deep in creating art, she put something out that sounded like it could have been an album of hers from 2010. And I feel like that's what it was. She decided to release this album because it was okay. We need to fill a quota. I mean, I've been out of the game for a minute. I've been over there on American Idol. I've been doing a residency, and creatively, I need to put out something so that way people remember, oh, hi, with Taylor Swift and Ariana Grande and all these other, and Lady Gaga and all my other contemporaries still putting out music. I ain't put out nothing in the month of Sunday. So I gotta remember, oh, hey, look, Katy Perry over here in the corner. I gotta put out something so y'all remember me. But then when you put out, the music you put out is just not memorable. And that's no shade. It just is what it is. So I say all this to say, what do you guys think of this story in regards of the rumors swirling that she may have to cancel some Lifetime tour dates due to some disappointing ticket sales? To be honest, there's too many of y'all going on tour right now. Like we got Tate McRae about to go on tour. We got Dula Peep about to come over to the United States a couple of months from now to tour. We got Lady Gaga doing a couple of dates, which I heard that she's struggling to sell out those stadium tours over in Singapore. I did see that report that came out over there with Lady Gaga. She got 5 dates, and they said that the struggle is real over there with them ticket sales. Then we got Beyonce about to come out and do her tour, where they said she got about 95% of them tickets sold, although they would say that she was struggling too. So there's a lot of girls right now that's going on tour, and we're about to hit a recession. The money ain't money in like it used to, especially with this current administration about to just bleed us dry financially. So the struggle is real out here, and a lot of people don't have like $1,000, $1,200, $2,000. They barely got it for their rent. So what makes you think they're gonna have that money to go out here supporting their favorite pop girlies to see them on stage giving half-ass performances for 2 hours like Katy Perry usually does when she performs? So I say all this to say, what do y'all think of this story? Whatever your thoughts are, I definitely want to hear from you. So let me know in the comments your thoughts down below.